United States entered the war. In this case, Russia has been at war with Ukraine for 11 years. And the night before this attack, so Saturday night, as you and your viewers know, Russia launched over 400 drones against Ukrainian targets. So the only possible comparison would be the strategic surprise that was achieved in this attack. But otherwise, any other comparisons, I think, are not helpful in understanding the impact.
Do you feel that this attack could open a window of opportunity for Ukraine to turn the tide of this war by waging this war inside Russia? If Ukraine continues to attack Russia's strategic and not only strategic aviation, what would this mean for the Russian side? And could this force Putin to make any kind of compromise at least?
Well, of course, now Russia is having to think about where do they have their Air Force, what bases are there, where do they have air defense, can they protect all the airfields, and can they protect all of their critical infrastructure, the oil and gas infrastructure, ammunition factories, all of these things. Because now they can see that every single thing inside Russia can be reached. This is a hell of a recognition now that Ukraine can touch every part of Russia with capability. So this is going to be a challenge for the air defense commanders of the Russian Federation, and also where do they put stuff? You remember, you'll be aware that in the Second World War, the Soviet Union moved a lot of their defense industry to the east of the Ural Mountains because they were concerned that the German Wehrmacht was getting too close and would capture or destroy it. So now you cannot go hide behind the Ural Mountains anymore. You've got to find other ways to protect critical assets from the long reach of Ukrainian armed forces and Ukrainian intelligence. I think also it's clear, or at least it seems to me, that Ukraine is no longer hindered by anything, by U.S. policy or even European governments. I mean, Chancellor Merz the other day said that anything that Germany has provided to Ukraine can be used without restriction. So I would anticipate we're going to see more and more of these kinds of things. I certainly hope so.
And how do you see the main implications of this strike on Russia's aviation for global nuclear deterrence? Because some military experts believe that global nuclear powers would reconsider its protection of its own strategic aviation and could try to make any kind of better defense for them, basing on airfields, just try to protect this aircraft against any drone threats.
Yeah, well, I think, most of the European airfields that were built back during the Cold War days have, the protected bunkers and so on, but they were not designed to protect against drones. So now you've got to have overhead protection, but also the doors, the entrance, so that drones could not fly in and, where one or two drones destroys a door, then another one comes in. So this is a different, more sophisticated defense that's required to protect against these kind of things. And I'm sure a lot of other people are thinking about how could they get truckloads of drones and park them next to, U.S., British, German, Italian facilities. So this is, the technology is not brand new, but the innovation, the way the Ukrainians did it, that's what's really remarkable to me. So how do you protect against that? And again, you cannot protect everything, so you think you have to prioritize what you protect, but also you want to go after the ability of the enemy to actually do these things. Go kill that archer.
Let's also cover Pentagon's comments on this attack. A senior U.S. defense official told CNN that Ukraine's attack showed a level of sophistication that they had not seen before. Have they underestimated Ukraine again?
So for sure, many people have consistently underestimated Ukraine. There's no doubt about it, including in the White House and a lot of elected officials. But I would say that there are quite a few intelligence professionals in the West, in the U.S. and in UK, for example, and military that have seen the Ukrainians up close and realize the technical expertise that they have. I remember the first time when we delivered, I was still in the Army, and we delivered the Q-36 radar, which is a counter-fire radar, to Ukrainian armed forces. I think this was like 2016 probably. And we provided a few of these, and I was astounded how that radar was more effective than I realized. When you put it in the hands of Ukrainian soldiers that are under fire from Russian artillery and Russian rockets, they became very, very good. And the radar was better than I realized, to be honest. So since then, I've always assumed that Ukrainians were very good technically and creatively, and it's only gotten better. But I think probably people who don't pay close attention to this all the time have underestimated. Certainly, the president and the vice president have, and other people around the president.
We also haven't heard any kind of statement from US President Donald Trump or even from Pete Hegseth, despite the fact that Pete Hegseth, according to CNN, received updates on Ukraine's operation as he traveled on to Joint Base Andrews on Sunday. President Trump has been persuading us that Ukraine haven't had any kind of cards. Do you feel that Trump could realize that Ukraine has some cards, as well as his national security team? Could this also be another turning point of his thinking?
Well, I wish it was, but I have zero confidence that this president is going to do anything meaningful to help Ukraine. Perhaps the reason that they have not commented, I don't know this, but they're trying to figure out what would they say. I mean, because this has proved that Ukraine is not going anywhere, that they're not going to collapse, that their defeat is not inevitable, and that Russia is, in fact, very vulnerable. And so, I saw several comments from people like Steve Bannon and Michael Flynn and I think Alex Jones and others who are MAGA, have been, pro-Kremlin all along, that are connected to the administration, at least unofficially. And they came out saying this was outrageous, that, they're trying to destroy Trump's dream of a peaceful outcome and all this nonsense. But I haven't seen anything from the administration. Now, of course, the U.S. got rid of, or the administration got rid of National Security Advisor Waltz. So Secretary Rubio has National Security Advisor and Secretary of State. They have not filled all the positions in the administration, including in the Department of Defense. So I think that they don't have enough people in place to do what needs to be done and to do the analysis and to think about it. And they've got knuckleheads that are the spokeswoman for the Department of Defense. It's terrible. And she's absolutely a Kremlin supporter. So they probably are trying to figure out what the hell to say. And I think even some European countries also are not sure what to say because they were so surprised by this.
From your perspective, should US President Trump be ashamed of his comments that Ukraine doesn't have the cards, at least after this attack on Russia?
Yes, of course he should, but he has no shame. I think that the approach of the Trump administration from the beginning has been doomed to failure. They never understood the culture, the geography, the history, why Ukraine was fighting. They never could even say that Russia was the aggressor. They wanted Ukraine to give up land from the very beginning.